Welcome, everybody, to the American Space Museum. I'm Mark Marquette, and we do have some happy birthdays today. Two astronauts up there, Marty Winkle, my cameraman co-producer, and I welcome Mike Lienbach here to our studio. Hi,
Hi,
Mike.
hi, Mark. How you doing, man?
Oh, great. You've been on Stay Curious before. We had a nice book signing here with the book you wrote with Jonathan Ward, Bringing Columbia Home,
Yes.
the ones you autographed here I took away. I should have had
Well,
one
we
to
should
show
have
here.
one here to show.
Yeah, I've got my copy up there somewhere.
Okay,
Maybe Marty will grab it.
that's fine.
This gentleman launched 37 space shuttles. The final shuttle program launch director, responsible for the overall space shuttle countdown policy, planning, execution activities for the final 11 years of the program. And he mentored the current launch director at NASA, Miss Charlie Blackwell Thompson.
Yeah, she was one of my assistant launch directors and did a fantastic job there and is a perfect person for the Artemis launch director position.
And that's what we're here to talk about, a little realism and experience about the Artemis SLS rocket that we'll get into that here in our program after we talk a little bit about the shuttles of the month. But Mike, as a launch director, I remember you talking many times, several conversations, that the purpose of your job was to keep the shuttle on the ground.
Yeah, that's really true. The principal role of the launch director is the safety of the astronauts and the ground crews out at the launch pad. And one way to do that is to keep them on the ground. Don't let them launch until it's ready to go. And we had a saying in all launch business, especially manned business, we'd rather scrub and be wrong than launch and be wrong. And so that was what we lived by, and that's what we taught Charlie, and that's what she's going to live by.
Well, we'll hear more about that lady, and
Okay.
you're working with her as we go. No coincidence that we chose this beautiful green screen backdrop here. This is STS 106 on September 8th, the year 2000, 22 years ago. This was your first baby to be full responsible for as launch director.
It was the first one I was launch director, and yeah, I remember that day. It was a nice day, and I was nervous, but I was ready for the position and ready for the responsibility. And unfortunately, we did okay that day. And so yeah, it was fun.
Well, I'm consulting my shuttle scroll here, folks, that I've had you autographed before, and I have the launch directors blocked off there, you and Bob Seek and David King and Ralph Rowe, and of course, Mr. Jim Harrington.
Right.
Um, Day 106 was Wilcutt was your commander, and Scooter Altman was the pilot on his second mission.
Right.
That was Wilcott's fourth, and that was a hard hat mission to the ISS, the 22nd flight of Atlantis. So, special bird for you, I know. Atlantis.
Yeah, no, I love Atlantis. I loved them all, but Atlantis was special, and Columbia was special too. But yeah, no, I loved them all.
Well, we're going to talk about that here in just a second. But there is, see, I had one before that, Marty. Yeah, we want to just say there's your Artemis contact information out there on the pad. And we're going to have Mike give us his take on what's going on out there, and what better person to you get your information, Stay Curious fans out there, from Mike Lienbach, who launched the shuttle 37 times. He's full aware of all the anxiousness everybody has to do it, but
Sure.
It's got to be done right.
It's got to be done right, and it's disappointing when you don't launch, and it wouldn't be you wouldn't be human if you weren't disappointed that you scrubbed the launch countdown, but you don't launch until it's right, and we've all heard that before. And hydrogen's very difficult to deal with, and they're learning their lessons on the disconnects at the hydrogen line, and I feel confident they'll fix that and go for launch next time.
And the latest news is.
Well, we're replacing not we.
Yeah,
I'm not in it
you're
anymore.
you're
retired.
You're in the peanut gallery now.
I'm in the peanut gallery.
Yeah.
And but I do get to cut Charlie's tie after launch.
Oh, do you?
And so that'll be very special.
That's a tradition.
That's
right?
a tradition for launch director position. Yeah, I get to do that. And so she has to launch sooner or later. I don't get to cut her tie. But,
Okay.
no, they're working on the quick disconnect right now. They've built a tent around it, and they'll be changing out the seal on that guy, and hopefully that'll solve the problem, and I feel confident it will. And then they'll do a tanking test out at the launch pad and flow hydrogen back through that system, make sure it doesn't leak, and assuming it doesn't leak, then they'll go for a launch attempt.
Actually, looking as early as the 27th, maybe, of this month, huh?
It could be that quick if the range allows their range safety system battery waiver to be approved that we have requested, that NASA's requested. Um, we've requested that in the past, and sometimes the range will go along with us, and sometimes not. And so we'll just see how it turns out.
Well, one group of people not disappointed in the scrubs, of course, are the hotel people. And our museum has had quite some record sales here, thanks to all of you that have found us during your launches there. But that was the same thing with the shuttle. You had many scrubs and several rollbacks
Oh,
of the
sure,
shuttle
yeah.
program.
Yeah, we scrubbed about half the time roughly, and a lot of those were for weather, but then there were some technical issues, and heck, I remember hydrogen leaks back in the mid '90s, and all three shuttles that we were trying to fly back then were leaking to some extent, and so we had to fix those leaks and manage to get around those. So
I think we had scrubbed with ships offshore, didn't we?
sure, yeah.
Marty says they've scrubbed with ships offshore. I know it's aggravating when it's a beautiful day here and your transoceanic abort landing sites weren't
Yes.
good over in Morocco and
Yep.
Spain, and
Yep.
people couldn't understand that, I'll bet.
For the return to flight mission back, gosh, when was that? STS 26.
Well, that was actually this month. That's one of our shuttles this month.
Yeah, we scrubbed the first time for upper level winds, and it was a beautiful day here. I remember it like it was yesterday, and it scrubbed for upper level winds, although it just looked beautiful from the ground. So
That's our September 29th shuttle of the month. We're going to show you our shuttles of the month. Marty, we've already got some questions from. We got people all over the world watching us, Mike. I know Robert Law's enjoying his Friday evening cocktail, celebrating the Queen, no doubt, up there in Dundee, Scotland. Robert,
oh wow,
you'll have to drop me a line on all this wonderful Queen Elizabeth II, Queen for the ages.
yeah, write to us, Robert.
Did you ever meet her or anything like that?
No, but I met Prince Charles.
I know. I remember Prince
Yeah,
Charles was out
Charles
there.
was in town, and he came through the control room, and I was a NASA test director back then. But no, I got to meet Prince Charles, and
Now he's King Charles.
now he's King Charles III.
Yeah, I seen pictures
Good for
of
him.
Macaulay with him.
Oh yeah,
Mike,
okay.
Mike was leading. He was involved with the
Okay.
USA back then, probably, right?
Probably
Yeah,
so.
he was involved. In Yeah, Marty, we got a couple questions.
Yeah. Eamon.
I got to repeat your questions too. So,
Eamon Cregan from Ireland.
Elon Cregan from Ireland, yes, sir.
Do you meet with Bob Seek often and talk about old times?
Do you meet with Bob Seek, former launch director, and talk about old times?
We most certainly do. In fact, he and I were together for both launch attempts of the Artemis rocket. He came up to my house and we drove into the Space Center together, and we were listening to the countdown from my old office in the Launch Control Center, and both he and I are going to cut Charlie's tie. I should have mentioned that earlier, but Charlie's asked both of us to cut her ties. So yeah, no, Bob and I are good friends, and I expect he'll ride with me in my pickup truck to the third launch attempt, whenever that is.
I'll bet Bob's watching. Hey, Bob. He's always a great mentor for me here at the museum, and I love his Gemini stories as much as anything in there. He was a weatherman in the Gemini
That's
era.
correct,
In fact.
yeah.
So Bob Seek launched the most shuttles, I believe 52 or 3 to his credit. You launched 37 of the 135 launches. What else, Marty?
Mark Usiak.
Mark Usiak.
Mark, how you doing?
What is the difference in the seals between the shuttle and SLS?
The difference in the seals between the shuttle and the SLS locks and hydrogen seals.
They're very similar. I don't know of any particular differences, but the quick disconnect is a similar design between the tail service mast for shuttle and the disconnect for the Artemis vehicle. And you have to separate the fueling line at liftoff, and so you have to have that seal in there and the quick disconnect to get it away from the vehicle. And so they're very similar in design. I don't know the particulars, but they have to be very similar in design.
Another question.
William Whiting.
William Whiting. He's William's actually a great Stay Curious watcher, and he's got one of the new condos across from the high school.
Oh, is that
over
right?
there. Yeah.
Okay, very
We'll
good.
have to see if he'll let us come up there once in a while.
I didn't know they were open yet. But
But
yeah.
not yet. He's wanting to close on it. William
Okay.
Whiting, what's up, buddy? If he's in Pennsylvania.
Okay, how long does it typically take for range safety to decide on a waiver such as they were asking for Artemis?
How long does the range take to reply to the extension?
Well, back in the shuttle days when we requested a waiver, it doesn't take long. I would think within a couple of days of the formal request, they would review and look at the battery health and the conditioning that the batteries went through and rule on it at that point. So it won't take long to find out. We might find out today. I don't know.
And thanks to the Usiak brothers, Mark and Tom, our new microphone arrived today, so Marty can be mic'd up
Once you
properly.
get hooked up.
Yeah, we hadn't hooked it up today because
Little technical difficulties.
yeah, we had a little few snafus at getting online today. But yes, sir. What's
Okay,
next?
Ivan Sidoric.
Ivan
Sidoric.
Podoric. Okay.
Okay. How far in technology is NASA since the shuttle compared to SLS? And
How
does-
far has technology advanced in the last 10 years with
Well,
this rocket compared to the shuttle?
You know, this rocket was being designed while we were still flying the shuttle. Most aspects of it were designed for the old the Constellation program, which was going to be the successor program to the space shuttle. That was announced by President Bush in 2004. And it was, you know, the heavy lift vehicle. It's evolved into this SLS vehicle that's being used for the Artemis program. And so the main engines of the shuttle are used on the SLS. There are 4 of them instead of 3. The saw rocket boosters are right from the shuttle program. They're 5 segments in height rather than 4. But a lot of the technology comes right from shuttle. So it's not that much of a stretch.
So you've got the 5 on each side segments that have all flown. That's 10 pieces of hardware in space. And then the 4 engines, that's 14 pieces of hardware in space on this vehicle.
Yeah,
Flown before.
have flown before, and the external tank is a derivative of the space shuttle external tank. It's just longer because it has to feed 4 engines all the way to orbit instead of 3.
Well, we love your questions. Keep them coming, Marty.
Mark Forsey.
Mark Forsey.
Forsey,
All right.
head of security at KSC. Good
All
to hear
right.
from you.
That answers this question. Okay. How good was security at KSC for shuttle launches?
How good? How good was security for shuttle launches since the head of the shuttle
The
security?
formal head of
What was
shuttle
it?
security.
Forsey, is it?
Borsey,
Oh,
B-O-R-S-E-Y.
Forsey. All right. Yeah.
Hi, Mark. Great question, and I'll call you later.
Yeah. Oh, you had to get rebadged or something to get in there.
He was very good about it.
Okay.
Very,
sweet.
very good.
All right, good. Well, we're going to talk
Mark.
talk about a lot of things here at Random, obviously, and we love that because it's important that you're reaching out to us. After all, for 21 years we've been preserving the birth of America's space age right here in Titusville, Florida. Mike has given us some awesome relics from his collection. 3 of the hatch covers for Discovery, Atlantis, and Endeavor. They're very popular and
Oh, good.
and
I'm
oh
glad
yeah,
people like them.
oh they certainly do, and well displayed by Nick Enix, our collection manager. You've been in here many times. How's the new look?
I love it. I just noticed the flooring, the carpeting on the floor, and the studio here. It's wonderful.
Yeah,
You guys have come a long way in the couple of months since I've been in here.
yeah, we have, and the carpeting was a big deal for our nonprofit. About a $50,000 investment
Wow.
in there. That our board of directors, Larry Osterly, is our Larry.
I know
think.
Larry very well.
And he's our board chairman. And God bless Charlie Mars, who led this ship for 20 years. But the torch has passed, and we're trying to carry on the legacy of the Apollo guys by continuing to celebrate them and bring these important 30 years of the shuttle program. I get so excited about it, Mike, because it's changed our world.
Well, it did. I mean, that was our nation's space program for 30 years, the manned aspect of it, and yeah, it was kind of bittersweet when we had to shut it down, but it served us very well, and very proud to have been part of it.
And address this, because I find it, the last 3 missions, people had their pink slips in hand,
Yeah.
but excellence was still at the forefront thanks to your leadership and others.
Well, yeah, I don't know about that so much, but
Oh, I
yeah,
do.
no, the people that dedicated their lives to doing the shuttle, to putting the shuttle together and launching it and flying it safely, and the last shuttle launch was just as safe as the one before and the one before that. So I had no qualms at all about continuing on down to STS-135. Just wish we could have gone more. That's all.
Absolutely. Marty, another question?
Yeah, Gary Jarrell.
Gary Jarrell.
Mike, has Charlie asked you for any guidance going into the first two countdowns?
Has Charlie Blackwell Thompson, the director, asked his guidance going into this countdown?
We have talked numerous times over the last 10 years, and we've shared different stories and experiences. So I wouldn't call it asking for guidance. I would call it just a friendship and a mentoring, and she knows she can call me anytime.
And we've got some pictures of her to show you here down the line. Thank you all for being so enthusiastic with our special guest, Mike Lienbach. I want to put up there the picture of your
There
book,
you go.
Bringing Columbia Home,
Thank you.
that you wrote with this gentleman, Jonathan Ward. Hi,
Yep.
Jonathan. I know
Hey,
you're
Jonathan.
probably watching. And this book is a definitive book on the Columbia disaster, in my opinion. I told Mike before we went on, he made me cry several times reading this book. It's very dramatic, but I get my goosebumps on my arms thinking
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Just give us the how many people involved and a little bit about the Columbia disaster.
Well,
You were the coordinator of the entire thing, as the driving force behind the Columbia Preservation Team. You led the reconstruction team out there. It wasn't pretty, but it was necessary, Mike, and our nation owes you a debt, and all those people for bringing home Columbia.
Well, it was very difficult to begin with, but there were 25,000 Americans that helped us find the crew and the debris from the Columbia spaceship. It took 3 months to find that debris. We walked an area 120 miles long by 10 miles wide. Think of that.
Walked it. Yes.
Walked it from here to Jacksonville, 10 miles wide, and walked that
Jeez.
whole thing. But the book is dedicated to those 25,000 good Americans that helped us find all that debris and the astronauts, and the good people of Hemp Hill, Texas did such a terrific job for us and just stepped up where they were naturals. It was just beautiful to see them react to what we needed out there in Texas.
Yeah, the book is filled with good deeds and incredible acts of heroism, and let alone everyone that was involved in this. And 20 years in February.
Yeah, we're going to have the 20th anniversary get together in February out in Hemp Hill, and we did it 5 years ago at the 15th, and we'll do it again this coming February. But yeah, 20 years. It's hard to believe it's been that long. But the scars are pretty fresh still, you know.
Yeah, they certainly are. I see them occasionally with people that knew these astronauts and so forth. It's but again, it's part of the business. All the astronauts
Yes.
talk about like that. They know the dangers there.
They know the dangers.
The rewards are great too.
And they climb on board knowing the dangers, but they're willing to do it for the country, and that's just wonderful.
There's Jonathan Ward with you in the book. Question?
Yeah, Mark Usiak. Mike, can you talk Jonathan Ward into coming down for the new launch date?
Well, I hope so. He's going to be on a cruise, and so I'm not sure if the cruise and the launch date are going to overlap or not. But Jonathan, once we have a date, you're going to be the first one to know.
All right, super. Okay.
That picture was taken
Yeah.
up in St. Augustine.
Oh, was it?
We were up there and just celebrating the book coming out, and
Love
Jonathan
St.
and I
Augustine.
and our wives, we went up there and
Getting your pirate on up
yeah,
there.
exactly.
Yeah, they love pirates up in St.
Getting our
Augustine.
pirate on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's always a good weekend trip to go up to St. Augustine up there. Well, you are retired, but you kind of stay busy in your retirement like I do, or semi-retirement. Tell us what you're doing out at the Kennedy Visitors Complex.
Well, at the Visitor Center, I conduct tours of the Atlantis 2 days a month. And yeah, I have 2 tours on those 2 days. They're usually alternating Thursdays. But I take guests around and we talk about the space shuttle program. We talk about the early days of America's manned spaceflight programs. talk about the future. They always like to ask about the moon and Mars, and so I go into as much of that as I know, and we talk about the two accidents, the Challenger and the Columbia accident, and they get the straight skinny from a guy who went through the Columbia and saw the Challenger go, and so it's a opportunity for the public to see kind of behind the scenes, and we get a lot of international guests. Probably a third of each of our tour groups are internationals. It's very, very popular overseas.
Oh, shuttle is it's huge overseas.
It is. It absolutely is. I didn't know until I started doing all this.
Oh boy, a good percentage of our auction items go overseas.
Okay. Yeah.
And in fact, I was texting Bruce Melnick today
Mm-hmm.
to see if he could be involved in an event that we're doing. There's a documentary on mobile launch platform too. We're gonna have the world premiere Sunday, September 26th at the Hyatt Place. Maybe we can get you involved in that. We just put all that together. Bruce is the star of it in there, I think. Melnick.
Bruce is a great guy.
And he texted back. He's supposed to be in England that weekend,
Okay.
but he thinks plans might change because of the death of the Queen over there.
Oh yeah.
But no, very popular over there. You need to get with Johnson, book you some European appearances out there. I'm sure they'd love to talk to you.
Yeah.
They're crazy about it, aren't they, Marty?
Yep.
Yeah, really. There's several museums over there. Well, great. Book your tour out there. I'm going to give myself a birthday present in November to get on the tour there. They limit it to 30 people, I understand.
That's correct.
So I better get in on that. There you are in action 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Marty, we've got another question.
Two questions. Iman again from Ireland.
Iman from Ireland.
Where were you on April 12th, 1981, Mike?
Where were you? Okay. Where were you April 12th, 1981, the launch of STS-1?
Yep. First launch of the space shuttle. I was just about to graduate from graduate school, a master's degree in engineering up in Charlottesville, Virginia. And probably
He's a Cavalier.
I am a
folks, out
Cavalier,
there.
both
Yep.
undergraduate
So
and
Kathy
graduate.
Thornton.
Yep,
Her
absolutely.
birthday's, or she's going to be at the Space Center in a couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, I'd
Yeah.
love to see her again.
Yeah, yeah.
And no, we were up there, and then after my master's, I got a job with Babcock and Wilcox down in Lynchburg, Virginia. I worked there for 4 years, something like that, and then came down here.
Did you ever think it?
No.
How your life would change?
No, truly I didn't. I was lucky just to get a job with NASA. I was doubly lucky to get a job here at the Kennedy Space Center, and to finish my career as a launch director was just magical. It was magical.
1984, you joined NASA. What'd you do?
I was in design engineering. I got hired. Excuse me. I got hired as a structural engineer. So I was designing launch pad platforms and weather protection around the vehicle, and we were still in the process of getting Launch Complex B, 39B up and running to support the space shuttle program, and so I did a lot of work out of Pad B, and then I met the guys, the folks in the operations arm of the business, the NASA test directors, and they hired me on, and I was a journeyman level test director, pulling third shift duty and second shift and weekends, and kind of moved on from there.
Who mentored you up?
Norm Carlson.
Yeah.
Carlson hired me, and it was absolutely my mentor and good friend and boss and all those things, and almost like a father figure to me down here. Just terrific guy.
Wish I could have met him. We have his silver Snoopy and the certificate that Brian O'Connor sponsored him, astronaut. To
Just
get
just a special person.
Yeah, he certainly was. And his family's still around. And if any of you are watching Stay Curious, we honor Norm Carlson any chance we can around here, particularly around Beans or Go time with the STS-1.
That's right.
Yes, Marty.
Dave Pirelli wants to know, Mike, was there any one launch in particular that stands out as a favorite where everything fell into place?
Any
Well,
launch that
everything-
sticks out from Dave Girelli?
Launch that sticks out. Well, probably the return to flight launch after the Columbia accident. You know, we had to. It was almost 3 years later, and we had to prove to the astronauts and ourselves and the program and the American people that we could launch safely again. And we started a launch countdown practice for that mission just about 3 months after the Columbia accident. And so, because I wanted the launch team to stay fresh, I didn't want to have any kind of stale staleness factor into the launch team. So we had been practicing that countdown in the control room against a mathematical model for a couple of years, and then it lifted off, and we just felt really, really good.
Eileen Collins in command at STS-114. That was one of our July shuttles that we celebrate. So you came back from Texas in the recovery and jumped right back into the control room.
Yeah, pretty much. We came back and I did the reconstruction. They asked me to lead the reconstruction team of the debris, and that was about a 3-month assignment or so. But then after that, we were back doing practice countdowns that summer, the summer of 2003. And I remember a lot of people questioning. They said, "Lienbach, why are you doing it so soon?" And I said, "Well, because I don't want the team to get stale, and I want them to realize, I want everybody to realize that we're going to launch again, and we need to be ready for that day once it comes."
That seems to be a good morale thing too.
It was great. It was the right thing to do in hindsight. Sure.
Great. Another question, Marty?
Tom Musiak,
Tom Musiak's in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
would they have been,
Lancaster.
and would it, sorry,
They
would
brought
it
me
have been an advantage to doing an FRF here and check out the ground equipment as well as the engines?
The FRF, that's an interesting question. We did a flight readiness firing for all the shuttles when they got here, because that was the only place where it could be done with the space shuttle. You know, they went through a green run up in, or out at Stennis, I guess it was, or maybe up in Marshall. I forget where the green run was with the engines in the tank, and so all that was proven out. What wasn't proven out was the interface between the ground systems and the flight hardware. You know, it's an interesting question, and you can debate it one way or the other. I think they made a good call by not requiring a flight readiness firing. In hindsight, of course, it's always very good. We might have found those leaks earlier on, but you know, that's a decision that
Flight
was made.
readiness firing is on the pad, a 2 or 3 second ignition of the engines.
2 or
and
3.
then
Yeah,
stop them.
the space shuttle. I believe it was 19 seconds that we fired the engines of the space shuttle, and so it would be a controlled test with all systems up and supporting. But here again, we proved out the vehicle itself and its green run, and so didn't need to do that again. The piece that we didn't do was the interface between the ground systems and the flight hardware. That's true.
Well, we're enjoying a conversation here with Mike Lienbach. He launched 37 space shuttles during his illustrious career. We know Mikey Haddad's watching. You know Mikey.
Yeah. How's your book doing, Mike?
Hey, it's up there on my counter.
Yeah,
right
I
there.
see it.
Yeah, he's got it over there. He does payloads with us. Mikey's going to be on the 28th of this month.
Okay.
And he brought, last time, you're going to bring an astronaut with you, Mikey? He brought J.D. Bartow with him last time, and that was fascinating. And boy, we're learning so much about these payloads from him. Putting the live critters on that thing, vertical on the pad.
He was the right guy to write that book.
They hadn't thought that through real clearly when they had those experiments going on. And
it was funny. When I applied to NASA, I got to tell you a story.
Of course.
Can I tell you a story? Jonathan knows this story. When I applied to NASA, I got a call from some folks up at the Lewis Research Center in Ohio, and they wanted to hire me to design a urine collection system for male monkeys that were going to fly on the space shuttle.
Okay.
And I could tell you other parts of that story, but I don't think I will today.
Yeah, there's another elimination that you might want to collect too.
Yeah, both needed to be collected.
Oh,
I turned them down.
okay. Yes, Marty. Another question.
Yeah, Ivan Sidoruk.
Ivan Sidoruk.
Yeah. Do you really need to be a genius to join NASA?
You really need to be a genius to join NASA.
Absolutely not. I mean, look at this. I'm a country boy from Virginia.
And what do you always say that you were ordinary people?
Yeah, we're ordinary people that had cool jobs.
Doing an extraordinary job.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. Everybody out there would tell you that same thing.
Society's filled with a lot, but there's only one space program in our country, and that's
Look at Norm Carlson, from Enid, Oklahoma, when the space program was just being put together, the manned space flight program.
Mm-hmm.
So he got a job and excelled, but a boy from Enid, Oklahoma, and here's Me from Charlottesville, Virginia.
One of our founders, Sam Bedingfield, who I believe you knew Sam, or
Yeah.
did you?
A little bit.
He was
not
a
well.
tobacco. He was going to be a tobacco farmer in Virginia when Gus
There you
Grissom called him up and said, "Hey, you're a Purdue grad. Come out here and help us launch rockets." And Sam Bedingfield said, "I don't know anything about rockets." And Gus Grissom, his friend, said, "Don't worry, nobody does."
That's right.
And that's how it all started here.
I don't
Hey,
know too many geniuses. You need to have a level head. You need to know right from wrong. That's the basics.
You've met a few, and Story Musgrave would be one. I
Oh,
would
Story,
say.
yeah. What a character.
We know that Carol Kavanaugh's watching, Mike McKinnon, Kim Davis, Corey Skinner. Thank you. In fact, Corey Skinner had a comment here, Mike, on our when we had the preview on Facebook. He said, "I really enjoyed your book, Bringing Home Columbia, and your appearances on the Jim Colbert Show on
Right.
Real Radio 104.
Yeah, Jimmy, Dirty Jim. He's a good friend for many, many years, and he was on the Monsters in the morning. Over.
Is that in Orlando?
It's a talk show. It's a talk show in Orlando now. Jimmy has his own show. It's on right now. It's from 3 to 7 every weekday afternoon.
All right.
Now we've been friends for a long time, and I've done different events with him. We'll put it that way.
Well, let's look at a couple more pictures here. Most of your comments are things that we were going to cover, but here's our shuttles of September, folks. 11 space shuttles that Mike Lienbach here is reminiscing over. There are 11 total, 4 Atlantis, 4 Discovery, 3 Endeavour, none for Columbia or Challenger did not fly in the month of September. 64 and 115 were launched today. All right, and we have 3 shuttles launched on the 12th of the month, 48, 47, and 51. And folks, you can never explain the numbering system. Maybe I'll have you a crack at it, okay?
I don't know it either.
Because 47 was launched. 47 was launched a year after 48.
Yeah.
It's 48.
Well,
Speak to that a little bit.
Do I have to? It's a curious system. When a mission gets assigned, they get an STS number, and then if that mission got delayed and another one had to jump in front of it because it had higher priority or something like that, they don't give up the number that they originally assigned. So that's why a 47 would fly after a 48.
It was all about the people like Marty working in the launch processing system.
That's
They
right.
had to have the same numbers to follow their paper trail.
We
and all
asked
that
Marty
stuff.
if we could change the numbers, and he said no.
Right. Got some seminal missions there, Mike, including in the middle there. 47 was the first African American woman to go to space, Mae Jemison.
Oh, May, sure.
On there, Hoot Gibson. I think that was Hoot's last flight, maybe. We've got 2 Mir missions there to the Mir space station, 2 International Space Station hard hat missions, 5 science payloads, 1 TDRS, important tracking data relay satellite for our shuttle at the time, and then of course the space station communicates through that. And we're gonna have Mikey Haddad will be on the 28th to talk about Space Lab J. Next Wednesday, the 14th, we're going to enjoy Mr. Hugh Harris,
Oh, good.
voice of NASA. Hugh's been a little under the weather and couldn't come in August, but talked to him yesterday. He feels a lot better.
Good. Glad.
He's 89 years old,
Great guy.
and he loves our Stay Curious audience and sharing with us.
Everybody loves Hugh.
Yeah, everybody, all the media out there wish somebody like Hugh was out there to handle their needs during this Artemis thing.
Right.
Terry White has come in the fold. You know
yeah.
Terry.
Oh, very well.
Terry's doing the shuttle garages once a month with us to tell people about that. And of course, Triple T, Travis Thompson, having him on once a month or so. We've had him on 2 years straight, so I think we've about wore out of Tales from the White Room that he can tell, Mike.
That he can tell. I was going to say. I bet he's got more.
Oh yeah, well, you've got a few, I'm sure. But,
Yeah.
you know, that's what's interesting. I see pictures of you. You were all over the facility out there. You went up to the different levels of the gantry, the remote
Sure.
service structures we call it up there.
Sure. Yeah. No, I climbed all over that thing.
And so I find that interesting. You probably really didn't have to do that.
Well, it's a good way to get to know the people, and they get to know you, and you know, it's management by walking around, and actually leadership by walking around, and So I enjoyed it. I didn't do as much of it as I should. Bob Seek was a whole lot better at it than me. He made time for it where I tried to slip it in when I could.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, there's a lot of people pulling at your time, I'm sure, when you're in the driver's seat there. Any of them else stick out to you? Of course, your first launch there is STS 106 there, launched yesterday in the year 2000.
well, this one 51. I was the NASA test director for STS 51, and that had an on-pad abort. And most dangerous thing we ever did at the Kennedy Space Center was to fire up the engines of the space shuttle with the astronauts on board, ready to go, and then shut them down within that 6.6 seconds. And that happened 4 times in the space shuttle program, and I was a NASA test director for one of those, and that'll flat out get your attention.
Charlie Walker said, who was on one of those, said it was the ultimate pucker factor for him
Absolutely.
as an astronaut on the 41D or 51D.
That sounds right.
It was Charlie Walker, and he's going to be around the Space Coast in October, and hope to get him on.
One of the astronauts was quoted as saying that who went through an on-pad abort, the engines start up and stop, and the astronaut was quoted as saying, "Boy, I thought we'd be a lot higher at MECO."
Yeah, there you go. That's a glib remark for
Steve
sure.
Hawley. Steve Hawley's
really?
famous line. Yeah.
Of course, we have the return to flight after Challenger is a September launch on the 29th, the STS-26.
Right.
You were working for NASA back then.
Sure. Yeah, I had already gotten hired into the NASA test director's office, and I was out behind that launch control center watching it go on that pretty morning. Yeah.
So we'll be talking, of course, on Stay Curious about the shuttles of September, because we love celebrating the space shuttle era. You know, I'm passionate about it. It's changed our world, but we have over 300 shuttle astronauts, Mike, in our communities doing great things all the time. And they do.
They're wonderful.
They give their time. They inspire the next generation. 65 astronauts, 5 of them women, can say they orbited the Earth in the month of September.
That's great.
So we'll move on from that. There's your beautiful launch there. Let's see, I got, we wanted to talk about the 2 missions real quickly here that were launched on this on this date in history. 22 years ago, being 106 was, we talked about that.
Yep.
64 was launched on this date in history. Get my little notes on that. This 64 was September 9th, 94 at 4:12 in the afternoon. First flight of this LiDAR technology experiment. A pretty sophisticated radar deal there. Mark Lee, well, here's your crew. Rich Richards, his 4th and last flight, was the commander. Pilot Blaine Hammond,
Yep.
his 2nd and last flight. Jerry Lininger's first flight. And Susan Helms, the general, I'd surely love to meet her someday. She's her 2nd of 5 flights to space for Susan Helms.
Wow, I didn't know she won 5 times.
And
That's great.
Mark Lee, 3rd of 4 flights. And Carl Mead, 3rd and last flight. And they were the mission specialists. They did the first untethered spacewalk in 10 years, testing the safer system, Simple Aid for EVA Rescue. What do you remember about that?
Boy, I don't remember much about it. I remember untethered was always a real tricky thing, because if one of the thrusters had stuck on, they would have been gone, and so.
I didn't think about that. A thruster sticking.
Yeah, I mean,
like Gemini 8.
It could have been. Yeah, I mean, if it stuck on, they weren't tethered to the vehicle.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's why today you'll see all the astronauts tethered to some extent. Oh, they are tethered and cannot get away.
Well, also on this date in space history, in 1906, 64 was in 1994, and then on the 9th of the month in 06, we had this crew, 115. Brett Jett was your commander. You did launch this one.
No, it's in the same month.
Rookie at the time, rookie pilot Chris Ferguson. And Chris
One
is
of my best friends.
really.
Oh yeah.
And Dan Burbank was on his 2nd of 3 flights. Joe Tanner, his 4th and last flight. Stephen McLean, second and last for the Canadian.
Right.
And rookie Heidi Marie Stephenson Piper. And she had 2 flights there.
Right.
And so they can say we were launched into space on this September 9th in there.
Well,
Tell us about Chris. He
It
was going to
just
be
Mark
the
talking about,
commander of the Boeing Starliner. He stepped down. He's still involved with Boeing.
Still involved with Boeing to an extent, and yeah, he was commander of the final shuttle mission, STS-135. And I remember he called me up one night and said, "Hey, Mike, would you like me to fly anything for you?" Because I always have a little personal preference
but this
kit
was
that
in
they take
2024.
out. And I said, "Sure." And so I'd had a pendant made for Charlotte, my wife, and he took that up and flew that in space for us, and that was very nice. And we obviously we stayed in contact all this time, and I saw him at a celebration maybe a year or so ago, and yeah, we stay in touch quite a bit.
Good guy. I've actually had privilege to meet him and talk to him. One of the fun things, Marty, that they don't do often enough was the astronaut parade at Cape Canaveral a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And he was one of the astronauts in there, and I got to yell boiler
I
up
didn't know
to
about
Jerry
this.
Ross up there. He was in one of the
Marcus on that,
convertibles.
yeah.
And,
He just called it today,
but
asked
we
me
need
about
more
that, so-
parades, Mike. We need to get more astronauts up there to do parades with.
There
So
you go.
there's some cool missions that were launched on this date, and thanks for sharing your memories of that. We got 2 birthdays, Marty. I'm gonna put my hat on for these birthdays here. Okay, we've got Mr. Moran there. All right, let me get my birthday list for him. Of course, I didn't. I put it somewhere. I probably can't find it here on our birthday people. Where is that? Doggone it! Where is
Well, I
Moran?
don't know.
Oh, it's over.
Right,
No.
yeah.
Oh, I may have messed up, Marty. Where is? Oh, here we are. Happy birthday to Lee Moran. He's 70 years old today. Born in Manchester, New Hampshire on September 9th, 1952. And he's a veteran of STS-110, so you launched him in 2002. 2 EVAs, building the International
Yeah.
Space Station.
Yep.
No,
And
I don't
he
accept
was
that. I
a
don't-
NASA management astronaut, which means he's no longer eligible for flight. And I think he's working on Orion. But regardless, happy 70th birthday,
Happy birthday.
to Manchester, New Hampshire native son Lee Moran.
Have you ever signed
And
on
then
something? I'm not even set up on
you
my
know
own
SUNY
system.
Williams, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Happy
You can set up
50,
something.
how old is she? She's 57 today.
Looks good for
The next
50.
time
Oh,
Come
yeah,
on. You hear the
absolutely.
green-
Popular
green
NASA
5
astronaut
o'clock.
SUNY Williams, former commander of the ISS, 321 days in space, 7 spacewalks,
Wow.
one of our most experienced astronauts. She's number 9 on the space walk
Is
list
that right? Wow.
of there.
I didn't realize.
ISS commander in 2012 of TS-33, the second woman to
Understand that.
command, of course, after Peggy Whitson. And she's now a Boeing astronaut.
Understand.
She's going to fly in space
Okay.
again on the
Thanks, Doug.
second
Thanks for calling.
crewed flight of Starliner, hopefully in
Yeah, I'm doing
2023.
fine. Yeah.
And Marty
How about
is
you? You okay?
Marty was a long distance runner. I threw that in for you, Marty.
Busy.
Thank you.
She participated in the Boston Marathon or the New York Marathon.
Yeah.
Boston.
Boston
Exactly,
Marathon
just,
from space, ran 26 miles on
Tennessee
the
today.
Is that
the
right?
treadmill
From
up there,
space?
yeah.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, while it was going on.
Yeah, yeah,
While it was
yeah.
going
No, I
on,
guess,
she
yeah.
took her free
Yeah,
time to
tourists
coordinate
come
all
by.
Wow,
that.
that's outstanding.
So,
Outside there,
love to meet SUNY Williams sometimes. Happy birthday to her and Lee Moran. We always love our astronaut birthdays here. Gives it time for me to always be goofy, I guess.
That'll be between 9 o'clock.
So we've talked a lot about Artemis with your questions already. There's a gorgeous
This is
shot of
good.
it on the
Yeah,
pad
sure,
there, and
yeah.
there is Charlie Blackwell Thompson,
Yep.
who's in the hot seat. She's obviously a Clemson graduate
She
there.
is
with her-
indeed. That's the
there.
only thing I hold against her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Being a Virginia.
Well, there's you and Charlie. I don't know the other lady. You do, I'm sure.
That's Stephanie Stilson. She was our flow director for Discovery.
And this is 133, the final launch of Discovery in 2010.
All right,
Yeah.
Bruce.
On there. I mean, what goes through your head? It clears the tower. Now Johnson Space Center is in charge of it.
As soon as we lifted off,
should.
we would
But
transition
Mark had to
control
sign
from
after.
Kennedy to Johnson and the flight director and his
After since
flight
the
control
last
team.
one.
So yeah, we're not busy. We're not responsible for anything, and so we get to watch it go. And only in the remote event of a return to launch site abort would we have anything to do, and that never
in
happened
this-
in the space shuttle program. So we're
But in this
spectators,
seat, I don't
and
think they wanna
it was
even
a
walk
heck of
that
a
far.
view from the Launch Control Center.
If that return to
have to
launch
stay in
site
the shade.
happened, I think your only manual at the time would be the Bible
Yep.
or the
Yeah.
Koran or
Yeah.
something religious there. John Young had a cool thing that, he's got a famous quote about that. You've heard that, I'm sure.
Oh, about waiting, yeah.
Marty, what's John Young's quote about return to launch site? Needs several continuous miracles followed by some acts of God or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, it wasn't a pretty scenario.
No,
That was
very
February
tricky.
24th, February 24th, 2011.
Yeah.
Discovery's 39th trip to space. And because we love her so much, we had to throw in a picture of you. Well, no, we'll show that in a second. Oh, that's all right. Yeah. Where we go? Back there. Oh, there we are. Oh, Nikki's picture's not in there. All right. I thought I had a picture of.
Out on the runway?
Nicole Stott. We
Yeah.
had it printed up there, but didn't go on here. So.
That's okay.
But there is a gorgeous shot of Artemis from obviously a drone or something up there. We got Dave Stange watching us up in Michigan. We've Melissa Pope. I know it's TGIF for you, Melissa. She works at the Office of Space Coast Tourism.
Okay. Very good. Welcome.
Up there. They watch us up there. James Sigler. Why don't you say hi to a couple of our friends there?
Let's see, William Whiting and Mark Borsey, are you still on? Let's see, Ashley
Kendrick.
Kendrick.
She's going to be sharing time with my granddaughter, McKinley.
That's
That's
right?
the grandmother. Hi, Ashley. Hope you have a great week up
No,
there.
this is cool to have these folks on with us. I really appreciate that. It's
Uh,
nice.
We got Ivan. Name a couple others. There.
Oh, Dave Pirelli, Daniel Dejean, Carmen Angelo, Adrienne Padrick, and Cynthia Rossi. Welcome, folks. Thanks.
Robert Katz. Ophelia
Robert
Sauterelle
Katz.
is watching in Normandy, France.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and Daniel DeJorg there. He flies one of them big jets around the country.
One of them big jets.
Yeah, one of them big. They've got the
Pilot?
numbers up.
Yeah.
I don't know. They look like he's an airline pilot.
Okay.
And loves coming to the Space Coast. And Christopher Mick, hope you're doing well. Christopher Mick is our outreach coordinator in Madison, Wisconsin. Larry Putzker, another, I hate to say it, Michigan Wolverine, because I'm a Buckeye from Ohio, but both our football teams are off to a good start.
There you go.
We'll see you in November, Larry, at the horseshoe this time.
That picture of Artemis is beautiful, and that
It
rocket
is.
is a monster. It is just enormous, and it's gonna put on a hell of a show. I guarantee it.
Well, I don't know what else we could talk about because we talked a lot about Artemis in there. You're confident that the team's in place. Tell us a little bit about Charlie Blackwell Thompson here, and you mentored her, you recommended her for the job,
Yes.
and I'm sure it's not just because she was a woman.
No, she was the right person for the job, and that's the way we approached it. We wanted to pick out the best person for the key jobs, and that was her. And she happens to be female, so more power. But perfect person for the job. She has the right personality for it. She's able to separate different problems at one at a time, deal with different things simultaneously. So and she has the right personality for the job. And you need somebody in the launch director position that doesn't get rattled. I mean, you need that steady Eddie up there so that if a problem does crop up, that you don't have a nervous person up there, and that would tend to translate down into the team. And she is every bit of cool, calm, and collected. She's a perfect person for
That
it.
is the personality. It sounds like like our astronauts, our pilots and commanders.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta compartmentalize the different feelings that you have, and so we're able to do that. They're able to do that, and she certainly can.
And you have procedures in front of you. If something's presented to you, you know where to what to do next, right?
Yeah, well, the job of the launch director was created back in the Mercury days, and it's a position where the launch director doesn't have a lot to do. We have a procedure that we follow along if we choose to, but we don't have a lot to do intentionally, so that we're able to watch the launch team perform and really think about, are we ready to launch that day or not? The launch team takes care of all the launch commit criteria. By the way, there were 22,000 launch commit criteria for the space shuttle program.
22,000 launch
22,000.
criteria.
And
that
so the
you
launch
had to
team-
check off before you said go.
Yeah, that was the technical side of it, and,
Wow.
and then the way the launch director made the decision, the way I made my decision, was thinking about my 7 friends inside that rocket, and are we ready to send them on the most dangerous thing they've ever done? And if I felt good that day and all those 22,000 parameters were good, then we'd lift off. If not, we'd stay on the ground.
And that's, the job there was no such job as launch director 60 years ago, folks. And as our whole space program, even the shuttle, you had to create these procedures and so forth. But I wanted to say Chris Kraft, the first launch director, created this whole thing.
Yep.
I'm sure you got to meet him a couple times.
I never did.
You never did?
I never did.
Oh.
No. I wish
Well.
I had.
He did not like coming to Kennedy Space Center. We've got on our YouTube channel a great interview with Chris Kraft. We don't know where we got it. Somebody did it at here at his home in Houston. At his home in Houston, not here.
Okay.
And he said he never felt at home at Kennedy Space Center.
Really?
He just couldn't get comfortable in the hotels and eating in the restaurants and stuff. I guess he was kind of a homebody, that he
Well,
liked being
That's
back
strange.
in Houston
Yeah.
in there. But
That's okay. That's
Yeah,
where it
that's
was more
okay.
comfortable. Sure.
yeah, usually the astronauts and love coming here.
Well, they had their own place to hang out in the operations and checkout building too.
Yeah,
They had their own crew quarters up there, so they were well kept, taken care of.
well, we've enjoyed this conversation with Mike Lienbach. Marty, you're writing a couple notes there. We got some people still commenting or questions, or
Just 2 more people watching.
couple more people watching. We're glad that you're watching us on YouTube. We've monetized YouTube, so watch a few ads to get us 20-30 cents a show here. Patricia Williams, hi Patricia. She interviewed Anna Fisher the other day.
Oh yeah.
She does
very
some
good.
podcasts, and I checked that out and got back to you, Patricia. Joshua Ramey is another one on there. So
Hi, Joshua.
so we're glad that you're enjoying Stay Curious today. Mike, anything I didn't ask you that would be of something that our Stay Curious people would love to hear about Artemis or yourself there?
No, I just think that the team is doing the right thing, and they'll solve the leak problem. We always do, and then we'll be go for launch. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be on the roof of the Launch Control Center watching liftoff, and then we'll get to go down and cut Charlie's tie, and it'll be a great day for everybody to see them going back to the moon, and that's a big deal for the country and the world, really.
So we'd
It'll
love
be
to
a
have you
great
come
day.
back in a couple months and talk about that experience.
I'll be glad to do it.
And we appreciate all that
Thanks
you
very
do for the
much.
American Space Museum,
Thank
Mike. Mike's become a great partner of our nonprofit here. We couldn't do it without these national treasures, is what I call them. Marty Winkle and Mike Lienbach are seriously, to me, national treasures. They've done things that no one else has ever done on the face of the earth. Launched this space shuttle, and no details about it, and that's what we're about here at Stay Curious, as champion that
Thank you.
cause.
Just remember, regular people.
Regular people doing extraordinary things. Marty, what's the final question there?
From Iman,
Iman,
do you remember the concert held after the STS-135 near the VAB?
do you remember the concert after the STS-135 launch in the VAB?
No,
No.
I don't remember that. We
do.
we had a celebration. I don't remember the concert. I probably left too early. I remember the celebration over there, though.
I remember the concert. And I can't think who the headliner was. It was a very popular
Okay.
singer. I can't think who it was.
He'll tell you there in a minute.
Okay. Sorry.
Well, you've given us your personality, and the demeanor. It has to be very common stuff, but let's face it, there's some stress involved there. And after a lunch, I probably just want to go home and lay down in front of the TV with a adult beverage. And
That's exactly what I did. I got home to my lovely wife and just able to unwind, and so that was my routine.
And hi to Charlotte. She's been your girlfriend for how long?
43 years.
All right. Well,
Yep.
love to meet her sometime.
You will.
Bring her. I will.
Oh,
Okay. good.
absolutely.
All right. So everybody, we really appreciate Mike Lienbach being here, helping our nonprofit, but giving you some real experience and some realism about launching this major rocket. Like Mike said, it's the launch director's job to keep it on the ground until 22,000 things are checked off,
Yep.
ready to go.
And the launch director feels good.
All
Then-
right.
Then let's go.
Well, we're going to be back next week. Of course, Monday, Nick Thomas is going to talk about the whatever we want to talk about. He is the astronaut corraller out there at the astronaut encounter. Nick, thank you for wanting to share your experience out there once a month or so. So we'll have Nick on to talk more about the Artemis experience from the visitors complex side out there. And like I said, we're going to have Hugh Harris back on next Wednesday. We missed Hugh.
Jimmy Buffett.
Jimmy Buffett was
Jimmy
the
Buffett,
wow.
wow.
Jimmy Buffett was the concert. Okay.
I'm
Marty
sorry I
just-
missed that.
Yeah. So we always trying to improve, stay curious for you, the listener out there, so you can tell more friends to tune into the American Space Museum, where for 20 years we've been preserving the birth of America's space age in its delivery room, Brevard County. We're 9 miles from where the launch pad of Artemis 1 is right now. So thank you, Marty, for another great week. Thank you, Jessica Galloway, our Trekkie Techie, for surmounting things. Thank you, Mike Lienbach.
My pleasure.
Right.
Absolutely my pleasure.
And until we see you again, I'm Mark Marquette saying, come visit our museum to bridge the space between us.